Can you guys hear us? Okay, we're ready. Yeah, I got the message.
Okay. Then we'll call to order the regular council meeting for Tuesday, August 18th at 7:06. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bennett,
Here.
Councilor Harris,
I'll give her a sec.
Here, sorry, couldn't find my mute.
that's okay, I can see you. Councilor Stratus,
Here.
Councilor Drott,
Here.
Councilor Myers,
I'm here.
Then the ones that are here will stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think everybody got the packet, so any changes to the agenda that anybody sees? Not hearing any. First item up is on page 3, which is the consent agenda. Let's see here. Oops, hold on. Seems like so easy. Consent agenda includes the city council regular meeting minutes from July 21st, 2020, city council special meeting minutes from July 30th, 2020, and check register for July 2020. Council members may request an item be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed as the first business item of the meeting. Does any item need to be removed for later business? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor of motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, by saying aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
We've done the consent agenda. Okay. There was no opposed, right? Okay, next up is page 14. And that is, oops, hold on. The city administrator's report. Oh, do we have public comments, Mr. Public?
None at this time.
Other public?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Think of something.
Okay, we'll check in with you later. First item up is the city administrator's report. Mrs. Miller?
okay, Mayor and Council, thank you. This is my first council meeting and my first city administrator report. I'm hoping you've all had a chance to kind of at least take a look at it. The first item is I was just talking about the kind of the transition of becoming the interim city administrator. First week we had a lot of kind of technical issues with our computers, but we've gotten those straightened out, so that was good. Also a coronavirus update. As of August 12th, there was a total of 606 cases in Lane County. That number is up 394 since July 18th. The cases in our zip code are still in the 1 to 9 category, so that's good news. I've also included there just a very brief thing from Oregon Reports about COVID, if you just for additional information. The other item around COVID, though, is we are eligible to receive up to $50,000 in funding for coronavirus mitigation. The state of Oregon set up a reimbursement account that's a grant program for municipalities. So we're working on getting registered for that fund so we can seek reimbursements for our additional costs for dealing with the coronavirus. Things like the extra cleaning, extra supplies, etc. So that's really good. There weren't any committee meetings.
Back to the coronavirus, when it
Yes.
shows 1 to 9. I know if we had one case in Lowell, and I think that's probably the 1 to 9 there. It was a person that's symptomatic, and according to what I understand and read, is a asymptomatic person cannot infect other people. So that person was around some other people. They went in, they got tested and everything, and nobody came back reacting to it. And like I say, the person that has it, I see them from time to time walking their dog and things like that with no side effects. So hopefully that was the only one. I don't know if there was any other.
Yeah, I had asked Lane County if they could be more definitive about that number, but they said when you have numbers that small, they really can't be. They just put it in that category, so that's good news. Second part is about the land development code. The downtown master plan implementation included updates to the land development code, and it includes updates around building standards, street sections, site review criteria, etc. It's funded by the Oregon Department of Land Conservation and Development Assistance Program. The kickoff for the project was a little bit delayed because of the coronavirus and other things, but we have now at least done a couple steps. One, the first step was to provide LCOG with a number of required documents, which we've done. And then the second step was to set up a walking tour and community site visit, which we now have scheduled for next week, next Wednesday morning, where we're going to be taking Lane Council of Governments and the state staff around to show them the various sites that were in the downtown master plan. So we're kind of moving ahead. The step after that will be to develop a public information plan. So I know that the state was really anxious to get that project going.
Good.
On other news, the Oregon Department of Transportation, the Safe Routes to School, or the SRTS construction program, Lane County is applying for a grant on the behalf of the city of Lowell for SRTS funding. And the project is to construct sidewalk improvements on a portion of Main and Lakeshore. The total cost is $466,000 and $506. It requires a 20% match, but Lane County is actually providing that match, so there will be no cost to the city of Lowell. This is actually a project that I think was proposed in the last round of applications, and we didn't get the grant, but we were rated really highly. So Lane County is really feeling very optimistic and positive that we'll be in really good standing for getting that grant. And I also attached in the packet for you just a cost sheet for that grant, and also a map that shows the sidewalk improvements that would be proposed. The grant application's due August 31st, and we've sent them everything they need, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Project updates, Main Street and Lakeview. I would actually like to, if council approves, to invite Max and Eric, who is with us, to give some information about this project, because a lot has developed even since I put together this report. So with council's approval.
Sure. Right. So you want to Eric first?
Yeah, Eric, you want to unmute yourself there and kind of give them a little bit of a project update, just what's going on this week, and hit the hype and go from there?
Yeah, so hi, my name is Eric Moulton. I work with Civil West Engineering Services. I was hoping Matt, my boss, was going to be here as well, but it doesn't seem like he's made it yet. So this week, we started the project on Monday and have already laid most of the pipe along Main Street. Are hoping to get that tied in later on this week. Seems to be going really well as far as I can tell so far. We actually ran into some good news over on the Pioneer Street side. It seems like that Main Street, or that water main, has been updated since beyond what our records show. So it's actually PVC instead of a AC pipe, which is really good news. It's a lot easier to work with and a lot easier to tie into. So I'm hoping that Lakeview goes quickly as well. But unfortunately, you only know it's underground when you actually get underground. So that's what we're hoping. Looks like it's going good so far. We'll continue to go well, but only time will tell for sure.
Good.
Thanks.
Thanks, Eric. Don, do you want to see if anybody has any questions about it?
Anybody have any questions for Eric? Okay. How old were those lines on Main and like?
So the line on Main is the only one I have any records of. It's 54.
Okay.
Yep, all original. Yeah, so with big surprise, like Eric said, when we opened up the far east side, the line from technically the south side of town all the way to the intersection is brand new to us, PVC, new valves, everything. So big shock. So, and like Eric said, benefits us pretty good. So.
Okay. The other project update is the purchase of the 205 and 295 East Main Street. Government Capital requested a number of documents from us, the 2020 budget, the 2019 year-end financial statement, a copy of the sales contracts. We've sent all that to Government Capital. The last piece, in order to button up the financing, is the resolution that will come up later on in your agenda tonight. And the closing for that project, or for that sale, is also August 31st. So, any questions on
Anyone?
anything?
Looks good. Next up is the Public Works Report. Mr. Baker?
Mayor, Bennett Council, Public Works Report for August. So got some little bit more in-depth numbers on the radar sign. I did a full month this time since the last time I showed you guys. This just captures, last council meeting to current council meeting. So definitely, more cars. Not too surprising. A few more speed violations, but we had 10 on the last week. So 19 for an entire 30 calendar days. Average speed was still 13 to 25 mile per hour zone. And we had one person at 31, the rest were 27 or lower on the speed. So that we have it set pretty tight at 25. So I think the sign definitely effective. We talked last time about switching it to stealth mode. We did switch to stealth mode, I believe last week on Tuesday, somewhere in there. So I drove by and verified that it's not showing anything, no LEDs, nothing, but it's still capturing data. So I'll provide the numbers for that just to see the effects of how good, or that the actual visual, a lot of people are visual on those. So, and then we'll talk about moving it to a different location. Had several people in the community reach out for recommendations. I know one spot in town we've already discussed on Highland, and then another spot actually that I spoke with one of the people here present tonight, but that's going to be a kind of a partnership with the county on that. So we got some options. I see Neil's on here too. I was going to see if he noticed any areas that he thinks we could use it at also. So I'll get with Neil either late this week or next week and get his recommendations on that.
Well, that's about 110, 120 vehicles a day.
Yeah, so that's
That
about
surprised me.
that's about the average, and it's right there on at the end of Third. So that's a pretty popular road there actually. So we've had as high as 300 cars a day there. So yeah.
I would say if you've only had, this shows 19, if you only had 10, I would say that it's probably the same person.
Yeah.
Using it.
Yeah, and a lot of that community right there, it is kind of close to that new subdivision, which gets traffic. So you get people leaving for work, people coming back.
Yeah.
So I did take the walkers out of there. We were able to filter out people walking under a certain speed. So that 13 is, it's a good number to see. So Marcia touched briefly on this, the ADA ramp improvements that the county is participating in completing. They have one left. They did pour second to last one today. It looks pretty good. So they have the last ramp there on right where we're doing work at on Main and Pioneer. So that's going to be good. New push button crosswalk going in, early indicator down by Parker. So which is been a problem there. Good. Wastewater treatment plant. Last week, the new metal, 2 weeks ago, the new metal building was installed that you guys approved in July. They set up about 4 hours. Pretty impressive. Guys haven't got a chance to look at it. I was going to put photos in here, but it made it kind of big. They did a very good job on it. Looks nice. It's very nice. We already got all the equipment and stuff stored up there, and we still have plenty of room. So
How's it anchored?
into with 3-foot rods down through concrete 3 feet. Yeah, and we did a really nice pad for it. So it's definitely going to last.
Yeah.
So. An update on the green waste. So at the end of this month, we'll have, for us, it'll be the last green waste that we store on the pad. So we'll get the appropriate people in and get it cleaned up, picked up, chip what we can for reuse, and then we are going to begin biosolids. We really need to do them this year. We have been putting it off the last couple of years, so we'll do dry embeds. So in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll still have the green waste and then people to call drop offs, but instead of leaving on the pad, we'll go straight to the dumpster from Lane Forest. So Or Santa Pac, we've been in talk with Santa Pac about leaving this one. So no changes, still be the same for the public, just a little bit different on how we do things down there.
How do you throw it in? You get,
With the
each
tractor.
person has
So
to,
the smaller stuff, no, we help them. Yeah, so we help people unload
with the
it.
smaller stuff, you get the tractor and,
Yeah, the
Okay.
bigger stuff, or if it's a lot of leaves and stuff or stuff like that, we use the tractor. Yeah. So as long as people stay in the rig, we have no problem unloading the vehicle. But some people like to unload it themselves, so we just don't, because of COVID stuff, we just let them unload. And most people have been fine with that.
they
So.
put it on the ground and then you pick it up and.
Yep, so right now they just back up to the pad, another concrete pad, they put it right on the pad, they leave, we push it with the tractor at the end of the green waste, and then we'll consolidate it and pack it up.
That's great. It's still, last Saturday of the month, right?
Yep, last Saturday from 10 to 12, and then anytime by appointment, so as long as staff is available.
Okay.
And one thing is you must be a City of Lowell resident, so we had a little bit of confusion on that and get a few people upset turn away, but it's supported by people who pay utility bill, so it's, yeah, city residents. Maybe down the road, we can talk about different option, $3 dump fee or something like Lane Forest. It's still a savings because people don't have to drive to town. So.
This says the meeting will end in 10 minutes. I don't want that.
I like it.
We'll talk about it.
No.
I think that's good. Water treatment plant, still all algae samples. We've been sampling every other Monday, required by the state, have all been non-detects. There have been some blue-green algae detects throughout the state. All of them have been well below the threshold limit that triggers resampling. They did get some new technology last year, which is able for them to get a number every time. So instead of saying, what was below 0.3, they can target much lower now into nanograms. So it makes a big difference. So, but we've still had nothing on any of the samples we've collected.
Nothing's been toxic in the state, correct?
Not in the finished water supply, but there was a small detection in the raw, but it wasn't enough to trigger further analysis of it, and then it was gone in a couple of days. So, yeah, very sensitive equipment they're using this year. So, as we talked about earlier, already, Wabash has already began the work on the water replacement. They actually have the new main installed on Main Street. We'll be going to do a tie-in tomorrow, so a temporary shutdown of service for a couple hours, and then we're going to move straight to Lakeview. So things are going good over there so far, pretty smooth, as Eric said. And that's all I have on my staff report, if there's any questions.
Okay. Next up is the police report on page 21 there. A little bit more activity on there. Any questions on the police report or anything for Max prior? Okay. Not hearing any. First item up is the Lane County Intergovernmental Agreement for Street Maintenance. This is Miller, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bennett and Council. The City of Lowell has an agreement with Lane County that they renew every 3 years for, it's an intergovernmental agreement that allows the county to come in or to provide services, sweeping, annual cleaning of catch basins, vegetation control, and any other required surface and drainage maintenance. The existing 3-year agreement is due to expire in October. So this is basically just a renewal of that agreement. And the IGA is attached. It's in the budget. It's not to exceed $50,000 over a 3-year period, and expenditures are budgeted in the street fund and contract services. But typically, the city pays under $5,000 for this service. Last year, it was $4,573. So also last year, there were some additional streets that were requested to be added, and they were included in this new agreement just as part of the regular agreement. So if there are any questions?
Nope.
So it looks like more streets, right?
There are a few more streets,
Good.
yes.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
And do they do that twice a year?
So catch basin cleaning is quarterly, or street sweeping is quarterly, catch basin cleaning is
Annual.
annually, yeah, or unless requested.
Mhm.
Painting, vegetation, they usually do annually unless additionally requested by the city. Yeah.
like I saw they're doing the catch basin.
They were here recently, yep, doing catch basins, and then a few times, not last year, before, the city's asked them to regrade 7th Street. That's a gravel street in town, so they'll take the base down and regrade it, so, yeah. But yeah, typically we spend between $4,000 and $5,000 a year with those things. Yep.
In that case, I make a motion to approve the Lane County intergovernmental agreement. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, do we have discussion or questions? This is a repeat of something that we've had ongoing with the county, and it's worked out very well. Saved us from buying some big trucks. Okay, not hearing any questions or further need for further discussions. All those in favor of motion to approve the Lane County intergovernmental agreement, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, not hearing any. Next up is the resolution approving government capital for the financing of 205 and 295. That's resolution 752, I believe, on page 32 for those with their hymnals. Okay. Mrs. Miller, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As you are well aware, you passed a motion on July 30th to purchase the property at 205 and 295 East Main Street in the amount not to exceed $298,000 and pursue a 24-month interest-only financing from government capital at a rate of 2.6% with transaction fees not to exceed $10,000 and authorizing the city administrator to sign all contract documents. The government capital had, as I mentioned in my report, had asked for some information. The last piece that's required to finish up this loan is the passage of the resolution. So once this is passed, we will close. The scheduled date for closing on this property is August 31st. So if there are any questions.
Anyone? Anyone want to make a motion, or should I?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 752 as written.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 752 as written. Any further discussion or questions? Not hearing any. All those in favor of motion resolution 752, a resolution of the city of Lowell, Lane County, Oregon, authorizing the issuance and negotiated sale of a full faith and credit obligation with governmental capital in a aggregate principal amount not to exceed $310,000, designated an authorized representative, authorizing execution and delivery of a financing agreement and related matters. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Good. Next up on page 37 is the city administrator recruitment. Mrs. Miller, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bennett and Council. I think we will have some discussion on this. It's been so quiet. It's been such a quiet meeting. I put together a packet to talk about, just to have a point of starting the discussion on how to move forward with the city administrator recruitment process. And I put together several options to consider and to get feedback on from the council. The first, well, first of all, I also thought it was important to perhaps put some goals for the recruitment process. So I just took a stab at this. I'd appreciate anything you'd like to add, but in terms of the goals of the recruitment process, I listed to conduct a neutral, legal, and ethical process, to provide an opportunity for the community and staff to participate, and also provide feedback to the council for their consideration, to maintain confidentiality until the finalist stage, of course. And to, of course, the ultimate goal is to hire a city administrator that can continue to move your community forward. So the options that are in your packet, and I do have a change in option 3, which I'll get to when I get to that point.
Can I ask a question? There's a little
Yes.
down on our screen that says we only have about a minute left on this meeting.
Ooh,
It's right at the very top of the banner.
ooh.
So it says less than 1 minute now. I just wanted to be aware of that. Yeah.
I can't see that.
Why do we have a
I
time?
thought I might be the only one. Thanks for pointing it out.
Yeah. I'm like, why is it counting down?
Oh, there it is. Oh,
First, I thought it was a meeting like time counter, and then I saw it was going down. I was like, what? Prime city council meetings, more power to them.
That's a timer for Dawn.
Right. Oh, come on now.
Well, let's just see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
We have to
Okay.
start another one, we'll have to start another one.
Oh,
This has never happened.
this has never happened.
Never.
My first meeting, this has never happened. Okay. Well, here's.
So if everybody drops off,